In this interview on the Life of a Borderline YouTube channel, Harvey Ottinger, the driver who took Kurt Cobain to the airport on March 30th, 1994, provides a first-hand account that challenges the official suicide narrative and suggests Cobain was the victim of a murder plot. Let's listen.
I waited around about a half hour to 45 minutes at Kurt's house, and there was creepy guys. I mean, there were people looking through the window, and I'm just sitting there going, "Where's Kurt? Come on, I got to get him to the airport." Finally, he just showed up, dropped in, and we had a really uneventful ride. He was very quiet. Upon exiting the vehicle, he realized that a box of shells were in his carry-on bag, and he was very surprised that those shells were in his carry-on bag, and he said, "Oh, F," and then he proceeds to tell me how he had bought a shotgun and shells earlier that day. The shells were in his carry-on bag, and never really thought much about how those shells got in the carry-on bag, but what was on April 12th, 4 days afterwards, and it was already declared a suicide, and I didn't know this, but they had inquired Dylan, and Dylan called in and stated he was in the car with Kurt and I, and that Kurt had told me to keep the shells, and that was the last time he saw Kurt. Well, for me, that was a transformational moment. 31 years, I believed Kurt had taken his life. And then I knew it didn't.
Harvey describes a creepy atmosphere at Kurt's home before their departure and notes that during the ride, Kurt was shocked to discover shotgun shells in his carry-on bag, leading Harvey to believe now that they were planted to force Kurt back home with an embarrassing media incident that would then trigger a murder plot. Kurt handed the shells to Harvey with an intense look, insisting that he return them to his house. A major point of contention for Harvey is a police report where Dylan Carlson claimed to be in the car during this exchange. Harvey asserts he and Kurt were alone, questioning how Dylan knew about the shells unless he spoke to Kurt later, which would disrupt the official timeline. Harvey theorizes that Kurt left rehab early to return to Seattle to clean house, in Nirvana, seek a divorce, and was murdered shortly after his return. He further supports this by noting that the shells Kurt gave him were Remington birdshot, whereas the shells found at the scene were Winchesters, suggesting the ammunition used in the death was not what Kurt originally had in his possession. It's also worth noting that the shotgun that's found at the scene and the receipt for the shotgun that's found in the scene show a gun that was not purchased with these particular shotgun rounds that were found at the airport, or any shotgun rounds at all. The rounds that were purchased in the receipt for those were the ones that were purchased by whoever the mysterious figure that left via a limo on April 2nd, the day that many researchers think was the day Kurt was murdered. So where did these mysterious shells come from? Is this the same shotgun that Kurt claimed to buy the day he left for the airport? A lot of unanswered questions, but it definitely breaks Dylan Carlson's "last time I saw Kurt" story right into pieces.